Head over to the Facebook land. Boom. There it is. There it is. There it is. And here we are. Hello, everyone out there in internet world. Come on in. It's been a while since we've done a live stream. I think it has been just about 2 months since we have appeared, or rather since I have appeared in a solo manner on this channel. And so let me know if you guys can hear me. Anyone out there in the strange realm, give me a heads up, or spam the chat with poop or alien emojis if you can. Let me know that we have audio capability. It's really good to be here once again. It's also strange. We have had some massive timeline shifts since the last time we have appeared in here. And so we're going to get everything set up here. You guys can see I have my little Palo Santo. So we're just going to kind of clear the space. Hello, hello. Danny Souza, John Hoffman, Cassandra, good to see you. Y.O., howdy. Linda Espinoza, I remember you. Good to see you. See everybody. And so I think the year is still 2021. I believe it is. I know there are some African countries, believe it or not, that are apparently observing a different year. I don't recall what those were. It might just be one, but I've heard there's a couple in which they're actually in a different year than we are. I don't know which one that is, but anyway, you guys can look that up. I think there are different observances of the chronological calendar system throughout the world. And so I believe that here in the US, it is still 2021. We are in July. As many of us know, we just had one of those American holidays that just passed a few days ago. I'm not sure which one it was. I think it was Halloween. And so now we are on to the next one, which I think is Christmas coming up here in the US, just about September. And so we're really looking forward to it. I'm just kidding. As you know, I'm horribly out of touch with like holidays and whatnot, but I'm totally joking. Happy previous 4th of July, everyone. And so it's good to see you guys. Let me know where you are. I see Sarah Jane Hards from Scotland. It's good to see you. And so let me know what part of the world you are in. I mean this very, very sincerely. Let me know what part of the world you're in. What we found this year, and probably I would say over the past, I would say since March of this year, we have been experiencing the most massive expansion of the work that I'm doing, of the treatment modalities, of the work that my wife does, of just the entire project that is the School of Multidimensional Intuition. And so for some strange reason, you know, things shifted. Right around the time we did an event earlier this year called Starseed Adventures. Some of you guys will remember that on the channel right now. There is the my presentation live from Starseed Adventures if you guys want to check that out. But we experienced just a massive, huge timeline shift after that event. And for some of you guys that are familiar with our channel, one of the things you've noticed probably is that over the past year I've shifted focus a little bit from what we were doing previously in terms of just pure psychic readings, intuitive readings, and, you know, what some people call implant removal, which is really kind of a misnomer for just a very particular type of multidimensional energy transfer. And so we've sort of shifted focus over the past few months into what I call a training period. And at Starseed Adventures, we announced a 6-month intuitive healer training program for individuals that are activating on the Earth plane and are just trying to, you know, figure out what we're doing and why we're here. What are my skills? What am I bringing to this new Earth that we are in? And we were not prepared for the level to which people would be interested in this project. And so that's kind of where we have been for the past 2 months. And some of you guys that are super observant, and I know because we did private sessions, you guys had talked to me and you're like, yeah, we thought you were going to do a live. We thought you were going to show up, and then we haven't heard from you for months. And so this is where we have been. And so we started a 6-month training program that basically consists of 2 private sessions per month and 2 group sessions per month. And what we do in this program is intentionally blast the energy body, rebalance the energy body, restructure the energy body, heal the emotional body, and just work within a number of layers within our energy field to create a very particular type of change. A very particular type of change, though, that is individual for each person. And so what we've been doing, just going through this process of helping people open up their multidimensional intuitive abilities. And we are about halfway into our program now. Yeah, I think we're about at the halfway mark for most people, or just past the halfway mark. And we have members of this group already launching their own websites, already putting forth their own actual energetic modalities that they have created and learned and picked up, along with, you know, their own processes and their own guides. We're not solely responsible for it. What we are doing is helping people find a place and kind of helping people find an avenue through which they can continue to develop themselves. And so it has been absolutely amazing. And it's also been incredibly overwhelming, because for some of you guys that know me personally, a few of you guys that watch the channel, you probably haven't heard from me at all. We have done hardly anything. And that's because I have been working literally every single day, which for some of us is a positive thing. For others, it can be kind of a, you know, a little bit of a maddening thing. I think if you're a professional intuitive or a professional energy worker, it can take a very particular type of toll over the mental body and the emotional body. And I've also experienced that over the past couple months, where it's, you know, this has kind of been the only thing that I have done. And so a lot of things went by the wayside, and we've just kind of been maintaining and really moving forward in just a really shocking way. And so here we are a few months down the line, and we're just now getting some free days. Things are starting to open up, and we are back. And so that was a very long, winding opening intro, but yeah, so we're just coming out of the busiest past 3 months of my entire life. It seems like really our entire life. And I think it's one of those examples in our physical lifetime when you say to spirit, give me a mission, give me a thing. I choose to do this. And when you find that you put, you know, your whole heart and soul and everything into it, there are times in this life when, you know, someone comes along and they go, oh, okay. Oh, we see what you're doing there, and we'll give you more of it, you know. And I think I was not prepared for it, really, but we are incredibly grateful. And as we move forward, I think one of the first things I'm going to announce here today, and this is also going to be talked a lot more about in the future, but it's really important because we're getting emails about this literally every day right now. Every day people are asking about this. And the next round of our intuitive training program, we're going to be accepting 20 individuals into this next round of training. And we're going to be making some modifications to the overall structure. There's going to be some changes in, you know, the way we kind of operate the program. There's going to be some changes in pricing structure. But there's going to be much more of an even more individualized focus for some people that just want to learn tarot. Some people just want to learn how to read energy. Some people just want to learn how to move energy or come to a greater state in your body where you're just able to feel it. And so we're going to be making a couple structural changes and kind of further individualizing this process, which in my opinion is probably one of the most useful things that you can do when you're trying to open up your intuitive abilities, because we live in an era right now in which there are many teachers. There's many people coming online. Everyone has a very legitimate and very, very real ability to move energy, but not everyone has unlocked or opened up the density within the body. And so when we start to open up our energetic anatomy, just by learning about it, just by understanding those weird chakras and meridians, we start to get a whole other layer of awareness. And so anyway, I am incredibly proud. I'm so honored to be a part of this crazy multidimensional training group. I think I mentioned this in a live stream that we did with Jason Alexis a couple weeks ago. I think maybe 20 people saw it, you guys. The cameras were out. It was a total disaster, I'll just be real, but it was really fun. But you know, one of the really cool things about this program is over the past few weeks, I've started getting sessions from the people in our training program. And it has been some of the most powerful experiences that I've had receiving healing in years. I mean, just shocking. It's kind of one of those experiences where, you know, I am so blown away by the people that have come into our group just by their raw talent that at times I'm like, I mean, it's almost frightening. It is frightening to me to go, wow, there are people out there who are truly moving energy, who are truly connecting with extraterrestrial consciousnesses and bringing this information here into the third density realm. We have mediums, we have witches, we have shaman. Anyway, I'm going to go on and on about this crazy group. I see some of you guys there. Hello, Jewel, Heart and Soul. Hello, Carissa. I see you guys out there. You're probably blushing in a weird way. Anyway, not to make it weird, but we have a couple members of our team here. So thanks for hanging out, you guys. Anyway, yeah, I'm also kind of embarrassing myself gushing about this process. So what are we doing here today, everyone? Well, really kind of nothing in particular other than just doing a little bit of an update and talking about some stuff. I do want to mention first off just a really cool event. It's the most recent thing that is coming up, and that is the Great Family of Light Gathering. Now, I don't know how many people watch my stream. I think, you know, we usually top out by, you know, maybe around like 40 people max. You know, I don't talk about the cool topics within our, you know, pumped up disclosure scene, nor do I talk about the politics. And so, you know, we get a little bit suppressed, and a lot of the stuff we talk about seems to kick this little, you know, YouTube shadow banning thing. So we don't really get that much exposure, but we find that the people that show up in these live streams and in these groups and in the work that we do are people that are able to perceive and will have a layer of awareness that is usually completely outside of what most of the normal populace, most of the normal kind of, you know, third density soul group is experiencing. And so I think one of the coolest opportunities for those of you right now that are able to feel the signal, that are able to hear the call, that somehow just dropped into this strange live stream, and you're like, I don't know how I got here. Especially the couple randoms on YouTube. There's always a few people. It'll sort of like pop up in your, you know, like showing, you know, like the little YouTube screen that shows, and, you know, it'll like give you what is the word I'm looking for? I can't say it. Recommendations. You guys can tell when I get awkward and I'm trying to find a word, and I'll kind of dance around it, but it'll be in your YouTube recommendations. And there's always a couple randoms that come in here and they're like, what am I doing on this guy's live stream? What the hell are we doing here? And what we're doing is talking about an event called the Great Family of Light Gathering. It's coming up July 23rd through 25th in Sedona, Arizona. I hope somebody, maybe if one of you guys in the live stream can put the link in there, that would be really cool. It'd be very, very helpful. I should have had it ready, but I didn't. But this is the first, or rather the next opportunity for those of you guys that want to meet in the physical world, for those of you guys that want to receive an actual physical session, an in-person session or reading. I'm going to be doing 3 a day while we're at this event. And we're also going to be giving a talk, kind of what I call a multidimensional energy briefing. Another cheesy term for it, if you want to insert, you know, some New Age terminology, would be kind of like an ascension briefing. But I'm kind of at the stage where I don't even want to use that word right now, because I think it's just becoming such a platitude, such a buzzword within our, you know, community that, you know, we're just, you know, we're kind of defining it differently. We are defining it as this great dimensional shift in which everyone moves into a different state of consciousness. And so at Family of Light Gathering, we're going to be given the next installment in just a briefing series that I think have been tasked to kind of dispense over the coming years. I don't know how long the year cycle is. It could be multiple years, could just be this one. But right now, the mission is to continue to update those members of our primary soul group on just the inner workings of what's happening within the layers of your multidimensional energy body. So a lot of you guys that are watching this are going to know exactly what I'm talking about. But what do I mean when I say multidimensional energy body? Because there's a lot of people on live streams and on, you know, like blogs and stuff right now, and they're going to throw out a bunch of terms, you guys. They're always going to use these like overly obscure spiritualized words that everyone's throwing around. And, you know, a few people kind of have an understanding of it, but it's very, very helpful to be very specific as to what we're talking about. And so for some reason, I'm one of those people that kind of dives into the weird intricacies of the stuff. And what do I mean when we say multidimensional energy body? What we're talking about is the invisible, non-physical layers of energy within your physical human body, i.e. the chakras, the meridians, the natal complex, which is a fun one. It's kind of a mix-up of both of those. And then one of the things that we're talking about, the Great Family of Light Gathering, that's where I'm going with this. Don't worry, there's a method. That is organ consciousness. One of the big things that's showing up for a lot of people right now that are just activating through this dimensional shift is our organs are activating. They're sort of, it's almost like lights are turning on in parts of the building that have been built, you know, but they just haven't been turned on yet. People are moving in, new information's coming in. And one of the things that happens in fourth density is that our organs begin to vibrate differently. They begin to interact differently with our emotions. They begin to interact differently within the physical body. For some people, the organs like the kidneys will actually move positions. I believe the liver itself, for some people over the next few years, we're going to notice that it's actually going to move a little bit upward, higher toward the back as well. And a number of the organs within the body are starting to change position. Now, some people are showing this on a much greater level than others. People that are cognizantly aware of what's going on within the energy body are going to be on a little bit more of a rapid evolutionary arc. And one of the really cool things we get to experience in fourth density is that the organ consciousness starts to open up. And so one of the really simple ways you could think of this is that each of the organs in your body are responsible for a series of emotions. They're responsible for a series of thought forms, for even decisions, even ancestral energies within the body. And it has always been that way. This is not something new to human consciousness, but what's new to human consciousness right now is the level to which we are interacting with organ consciousness. And so what it basically means for those of you guys that understand chakras or have a little bit of a pre-existing knowledge of it, is that the organs are developing their own chakras. They've always had them, but as we go through this fourth density shift, the chakras start to concentrate. Certain ones will start to move. They'll start to change positions in the body. For those of you guys that have been in the Patreon group, we've been going through, I think it's been a 2-month, we have been going through a very strenuous 2-month reactivation and just kind of a template seeding of the Dantian energy centers in the body, which is essentially where the chakras are evolving into. 3 primary energy centers in the body. And so anyway, I'm going on a long angular rant here, but these are the things we're going to be talking about at the Family of Light Gathering. We're also going to be doing a very brief attunement. I don't have too much time there, but we are going to be activating the energy field in a really, really fun way. And so if you guys are able to check it out, and thank you for your comments, by the way. I see you guys over here on the side. I'm just going on an epic rant here. I haven't done a live stream in a while, so we'll be hyper-verbal for the next hour. But yes, I see your questions as well. Thank you, Brianna Wertman. It's good to see you. Thanks for putting the link in there. I appreciate you. And so you guys check us out. If you're able to get over to Sedona, Arizona right now, I know they're having constant sales, which is something I really like about it. They've been doing a really good job of promoting this event and getting people involved. And so there's a lot of cool people there. Tyler and Aaron from Journey to Truth, which is a really cool show. They're one of the only podcasts that'll have me on. Seriously, they will be there. Kate Awakening will be there. She's really popular with a lot of people right now. I like her vibe. I also like Alara of Sirius. I secretly, or not so secretly, lurk her shows a lot, and I just kind of watch her, and I love her sort of her vocal tone and charismatic presence. And so I'm looking forward to seeing those guys. There's also a bunch of other people there. I'm really bad at doing names on live streams. Always the people that I want to mention are the names that I forget, and so I get really awkward, and I try not to say people's names. It gets really it gets weird. But anyway, yeah, thanks you guys, and let me know if you have any questions today. We're going to be doing a lot of ranting for the next hour, so if you have any, like literally any questions, throw them in there. I'm also going to be doing an event with Eric Rains. Some of you guys know Eric Rains. He has been a big part of just my own process. He's one of the people that kind of activated just a number of things within my energy body at a key moment in the awakening journey. He's going to be doing a little bit of a pop-up event with me on July 17th. I think that's in about 10 days. We're going to be doing part of it on YouTube and part of it in the Patreon group. And so if you are one of the people that are interested in being a part of that on a greater level, you can join for as little as $10. I'm not one of those people that's constantly pumping up Patreon. But some people really want to be involved in it, and some people really enjoy coming there month after month. It is one of those things where I just haven't really been promoting it, but we have maintained a really, really good following. And we usually hover around, 60 or so individuals that continue to show up. And so I'm really grateful for you guys. Thank you for being there. So what we're going to be doing in the Patreon group on July 17th is Eric's going to roll in. We're going to do a kind of like an AMA, like Ask Me Anything, like let's talk about energy in a real brutal and open way for those people in the Patreon group that want to get an idea of what is it like being a professional healer. What is it like doing this work as your sole mission, the only thing that you do? And, you know, what happens? What's that like for people? How does the journey take place? What sort of changes? What sort of challenges happen in the journey? And so we're going to be doing a semi-private discussion with the Patreon group about that, starting at, I think, 1 p.m. on Saturday, July 17th. And then right after that, we're going to go live on YouTube, and we're going to do kind of like a meditation, a healing for just anyone that shows up. Anybody that shows up. So you guys can attend the whole thing for free. We're gonna post the entire thing afterward. But just for people that want to be a part of just kind of like an intimate Q&A as to what it's really like in this multidimensional realm, you can check us out on Patreon. That's at the Blue Flame Collective. Hopefully there's some Patreon people in here, and maybe one of you guys can put our link in there. Thank you if you can do that. That would be really cool. Otherwise, I will definitely post it in there. But so yeah, we're gonna be doing that July 17th. Yeah, I think that's in 10 days, right, you guys? Probably. So please do check it out. The third thing that I'm going to announce here, and a lot of you guys already know about this, but Camp Disclosure is coming up once again. I think that's where a lot of people that were introduced to our channel last year showed up from. So thank you if you're one of the people that discovered us around the time of Camp Disclosure in August of last year. Well, we are going back. It is happening again. And so in that vein, I'm going to be doing a live stream with the Camp Disclosure crew on their channel this Friday. I think it's about 5:30-ish Pacific. And so I hope that you'll check us out. If you guys are in the area, they don't have that many subscribers. They're still building up their channel. And so please do check it out. I'm going to put a link on the YouTube thing and on Facebook. Although I don't know if anybody watches this on Facebook anymore. If you're here in the Facebook group, let me know. Facebook, yeah, they just seem to constantly suppress my stuff. I don't think it's shadow banning. I just think I have low engagement on Facebook. So I'm definitely not one of those people who claims that I get censored. Because honestly, I don't. I just think we have a really good suppressive vibe that allows me to talk about pretty much anything and sort of stay under the covers. It's both a blessing and a curse. It's a very interesting thing. You guys, it has been so pronounced over the past few years. I have been to multiple conferences and been able to literally walk into places. I mean, just walk right into stuff. Nobody seems to notice. It's just been a weird talent I've had for most of my life. But anyway, we're gonna get to your questions in a minute. And so for those of you guys that are interested, please check out campdisclosure.com. It's August 26th through 30th. And I finally have the city right. It's in Helen, Georgia. You guys can go to campdisclosure.com and check it out. But there's a ton of people there. Barry Littleton is there, who I like. He has a really cool vibe. Eric Rains, who's going to be doing the event with me on the 17th. I think he's a keynote speaker there. Geraldine Orozco is a very interesting individual. For those of you guys familiar with the Hybrid Mothers Project and just kind of just interested in extraterrestrial technology and people that are real. She's a really good individual to check out as well. And so they're going to be at Camp Disclosure, as well as myself. We're going to be doing a lot more at Camp Disclosure. We're going to be doing not only a little bit of a talk, we're going to be doing the briefing again, but we're also going to be doing a group energy healing. I think Eric and I are doing it back to back. So I think I'm going right before him. And so maybe we'll do like a combo thing. But yeah, we're going to be doing a group energy healing. I think I have a Qigong session scheduled with the group there. And so Camp Disclosure, you guys, represents a really good opportunity for people that want to connect on a multi-day level and just be a part of a number of healings and just a number of stuff they're doing. There's a bunch of music and dancing and just all kinds of stuff there, which I'm famously uninvolved with, but I will enjoy observing. But yeah, Camp Disclosure is going to be pretty cool. I hope you guys will check it out. And I see your comments there, you guys. I realize they won't let you post links for some reason. It's all good, but yeah, so check us out, campdisclosure.com. I'm actually going to try to post it just to see if they let me. So I'm going to stare at my screen for a couple moments, you guys. I apologize. It's always awkward. For those of you guys that know me, you know I hate dead air, so I will continue to talk. It's just this weird thing. Let's see, did that show up, everybody? Yeah, it doesn't really show up in the chat. So we posted the camp disclosure link. I'm also going to post the family of lights. We can do it because it's my channel. Thank you. Thank you. I had no idea. I didn't know that's how it works. It might be because we're using StreamYard, which is the Walmart of streaming services. Sorry to say that, StreamYard. It's just, it never really works for me. It's been a little awkward, but I keep paying for the subscription, so we use it, you know, once every couple months or so. So yes, please throw your questions in the chat. I'm going to post one more link, you guys. I'm sorry. We're going to do one more link. We're going to post the Patreon link for anyone that wants to join us. I also want to say this straight up about Patreon, you guys. I'm not one of those people that enjoys, you know, getting people on this sort of subscription dynamic. That has been something that I was really resistant to for a long time. And so I am one of those people that's totally cool. If you want to join our Patreon group for literally 1 month and come to one event and then just bounce. I'm not one of those people that gets hurt where I'm like, oh man, somebody left already, because there's so many events, there's so many teachers, there's so much cool energetic stuff going on right now. I think it's really positive for people to just kind of like sample things, you know, like to try people out, try this person's energy out, try that one's out. You're going to stick with the ones that work for you. And I think one of the most important things we can do is really diversify just the frequencies that you pick up. If you're like me, you'll take a little bit of everything and make it your own. So I think those were all the major announcements. We had Camp Disclosure, right? At Camp Disclosure, we had Family of Lights, July 23rd to 25th. I think that's it. Anyway, I'm finally going to check your comments. Sorry, you guys. I guess that was a 27-minute long rant. I love you guys, and thanks for hanging out. Thank you, Amanda is awake. Good to see you. Thank you, Carissa. Oh, because the mod issue, they don't want people spamming with links. Ah, okay, cool, cool. I don't know how to make people mods, so I'm just one of those people. I'm totally out of the loop on like the, chat room social dynamic. I don't know how to. I don't even know how to make people mods. So one day we'll do that, and you guys can moderate that stuff for me. It's very interesting. Oh, hello there, Aratina Guyland. We have one person on Facebook. Hello and thank you. We have one Facebook viewer. I love you guys. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. Thank you, Lorraine, in the Bay Area. I saw someone with a question about sessions. Oh no, actually, here we go. Darren Margillis, thank you. We're going to be using our little StreamYard function here today. We're going to actually use the features of the program. Thank you for this question. Do you remote one-on-one? All my sessions are actually remote right now, meaning that we do them over Zoom. Every now and then we do it over phone. Zoom is kind of the standard right now. And so all the sessions I do are entirely online. As long as we have an audio connection, though, that's really all we need. If you want to get technical, you guys, you don't actually even need an audio connection. We are in a stage of human consciousness right now where energy transfers instantaneously. As I drool on myself here, some of you guys will notice that. It happens, but yeah, energy transfers instantaneously right now on the earth plane, but our human bodies, our human consciousness, the sort of human mind is still catching up with a lot of that. And so you don't even have to, as long as you have consent and an agreement to receive and send energy, that's really all you need. And if you want to get technical, you kind of don't really need a consent, but most real practitioners are not going to do energy work on people without that individual's consent. But yeah, all the work we do is entirely remote. So feel free if you have any other questions about that. Thank you, Joel, Heart and Soul. Good to see you. Curious about your thoughts on mirrors. Now, do we mean physical mirrors as a gateway to non-physical energy? Do we mean non-physical mirrors as a protectionary or a deflectionary construct? Or do we just mean the concept of mirrors in general? And I know that was kind of an overcomplicated thing, Nora, but in terms of energetic mirrors, you guys, and I don't know if this is where you were going, Nora, but there is a very useful process of creating, visualizing, or what some people will call placing energetic mirrors around the physical body or the non-physical body. It's going to sound really woo-woo for some people. For other people, they're going to go, yep, that's totally real. But one of the things we're doing right now is interacting in the non-physical astral space on a shocking level. It is a literal fact. And one of the things we discover about existing in fourth density is that there's a thing that I'm calling right now, and other people will call them this as well until we have a better term, etheric or energetic devices. Essentially a piece of energy that can be constructed in a non-physical space that will serve a purpose, send a frequency, or basically just have a function. And so one of the most popular and easy to create etheric devices are mirrors. And so why would you put a mirror around someone's energy body? Well, people feel attacked, people feel targeted. In certain cases, people have legitimate entities or just legitimate, multidimensional, non-physical energies aiming at them. And by practicing and placing mirrors in front of or around the physical body, it will allow an individual to deflect energy. It can allow an individual at times when, carefully honed and practiced to, on some levels, seem invisible, not be noticed, or, in most cases, though, when people are receiving an attack or in a very difficult situation with people, the mirrors have kind of like a return to sender type of a function. And so, mirrors are kind of an etheric device that you can use. It doesn't mean that it's going to work for everyone. When I first learned about putting mirrors up energetically in front of people, the very first time I used it, it was so effective that it actually scared me. And basically the person that I did it to within minutes broke down into tears. And they had a total breakdown, and I felt a little bit ashamed about it. But what it taught me was that it was an absolutely legitimate energetic construct that you can use to deflect difficult energy. Now, and we can talk more about that if you guys have questions. But physical mirrors, though, I think they will also serve as kind of a portal. I know that there's a lot of really cool mirror work that you can do in looking into your own eyes, which can get weird for people. There's mirror meditations. There's a number of ways you can interact with the mirror as just a pure reflective device that can allow you to go to, I guess it's going to sound like a cheesy phrase, a deeper level of self-reflection, but I think they can also be used as kind of a portal in many cases. I know that a lot of people will use black mirrors and go through a process of scrying or peering into the mirror itself as a bit of an energetic gateway, which is a totally legitimate thing to do. I think it just really depends upon the tone or the intentions behind when one does that. Kind of like with Ouija boards, it's really more about the tone or the intention of the holder and just the cleanliness and the energetic environment. And so I think for some people, mirrors, it'll just be a thing that gives a reflection. For other people, based on, their own internal condition and just their energy, a mirror could be a portal. And then I guess, like I said earlier, it can also be an energetic device that you can use to deflect negative energy. And so it's literally real. One of the ways you can do this, and some of you guys will be like, really, it's that simple? It is, but it's a thing you have to practice. You can go into a meditation, especially if you're having a difficult issue with a person or a thing in your life or just a situation. In my opinion, technically, you could even do it with things like agencies or organizations or something like that. But what you would essentially do is go into a meditative state, really allow yourself to connect with the inner child. So really, really allow yourself to sink into a state of real imagination. That's incredibly important for people learning how to use non-physical energy, because that's actually the creation ground. So you go, allow yourself to go entirely into your childhood imagination, and then really allow that energy of whatever the difficulty is. If it's a fight, then, allow yourself to feel the energy of the fight. if it's the energy of what you perceive as an attack or just a difficult relationship in your life, you have to be willing to allow yourself to feel the entirety of it, all of it. It's like you can't shrink away from the feeling. But then what you'll start to do in your mind is it's going to be like you're going to create a mirror. How do you create a mirror in your mind? This is an important thing for me, because in the beginning, people would be like, just make an orb in your brain, just make an orb. And I'd be like, how do I do it? And so it was helpful for me to, go, okay, so how would I make this mirror? And what I was told, and also what worked for me, was that first you construct the frame of the mirror. And so you decide, well, what does the frame of this mirror look like? What's the material? What color is it? Is there like a design on the frame? Is it an ornate, intricate mirror? Is it just a mirror that I picked up at Target? You know what I mean? Is it a floor mirror? Is it a mirror that was on the wall? Is it you know what I mean? You will decide on the specificity of the mirror that you are creating. So you're actually creating this thing in your mind's eye. And then the other thing that you'll do is, this is where it gets very individual. So some of you guys are going to create your own way, but what I would do what I did in that internalized space was, this will sound cheesy, I had a Sharpie in my hand, and my mind's eye, one of those markers, and I wrote the person's name on the mirror, kind of like those erasable marker type things. I wrote it on the mirror. And then what you do is you just place those mirrors around your body, a little bit like a wall, a little bit like a shield. The most important thing is to really allow yourself to lean into the intricacy of the creation of the mirror. A lot of people, as soon as they slide into that internalized imagination zone, they're going to be like, this isn't real, this is dumb, it's not going to do anything. And for most people, that's the reason why energetic devices, even in some cases, I'll say it, even some cases magic, that's why it doesn't work, because people will not be fully invested in the process. But if you truly invest yourself in this process and allow yourself to create the most specificity you can around constructing the layers of mirrors around your body, and then continue to do it. It's not a thing that you just do once. Yeah, I did a mirror meditation, it's all good. Although in some cases you can, and you'll only need to do it once. But for most people, it's a thing that you'll practice. You'll do it again and again and again and again. You'll do it on a schedule. You'll remind yourself. For people that will lean into the intricacy, that will make it a practice, that will constantly repeat and hone internal workings of how to create or feel or even visualize non-physical energy, those are the things that will actually make it real. It's the difference between, somebody, and this will be kind of a weird example, it's the difference between somebody, grabbing some old school spell out of a spell book and reading it, and then a person actually going into that space and making it happen, because you don't actually need any, declarations. What you need is to be able to harness your energy, come to a place of grounding, and then really crystallize your energy. What do I mean by crystallize your energy? Allow yourself to feel every bit of it. Everything. And you will find that by practicing that, you will start to harness it, you will start to use it. Things that used to trigger you greatly, deep wound cycles in your life, will start to fade. And for many people, there's this other type of empowerment that will come through. And likewise, some people will also get really weird with it as well. And you'll see strange ego distortions take place as they become more aware of their energy, because there's also a lot of healing that will have to take place. And so some people get really weird. Other people get, it just gets, it's a strange process. But yeah, create those mirrors. And I realized, Nora, you were saying physical mirror. I saw that comment. Sorry, I was just going on an energetic device tangent. Rachel Sticks Neal, good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for showing up in the Facebook realm. Let me know if you guys have any other questions about this stuff. I see Indigo 111. We're going to take your question. I forget that I can put them on the screen. Indigo says, I've heard from different sources that the chakra system can be used to siphon our energy, and it's better to remove it. What are your thoughts? That's a very good question. And I'll be honest with you. I have heard a similar thing from people, and I mean this very lovingly and also humorously. If you're working with a person who well, let me just say this in a different way. You don't remove chakras from the physical body. I have worked at this stage, I think, with, well, it it doesn't matter. Several thousand people on the earth plane. I have never seen one energy body, especially the individuals who claim to have had chakra removal. In my opinion, it's a frequency that you will shift into. I think the chakra system in itself is one of the most relevant multidimensional circulatory systems in the body. And so, to remove your chakras, or the concept of removing one's chakras, is like saying, I'm going to remove my lungs so I can breathe air cleaner. The concept, what chakras are and the concept of chakra removal are two things that do not fit within the same sentence, because they run absolutely contradictory to each other. A chakra in and of itself is not something that would be removed from the body. It is something that would be concentrated. It would be realigned. It could be moved. It could be altered on some sense, but it's basically inextricable from the human energy system. We are, on a certain level, our chakras, just like you are your circulatory system, just like you are the spinal column. It's not your identity, but it makes up, for many of us, a necessary piece of the physical body and non-physical body. So when people talk about removing chakras, what I have noticed is that we do have an ability on the earth plane right now to concentrate or hyper concentrate the chakras. And what that essentially means, or at least by my observation, because I have to be very careful by saying, I am one of many people doing this work, and just because Matthew says it is such does not make it so. It'll mean, maybe that is on my timeline, but chakras are already evolving in their own way. And one of the things we can do, one of the things we've been doing in the Patreon group, is concentrating and pulling the chakras closer together. We have a couple places, or 3 places in particular, where that happens in the energy body. The lower dantian, which is a collection of the Earth Star chakra, your root chakra, the sacral chakra, and probably a little bit of energy from the navel chakra, that will coalesce down in kind of the gut, down in the lower region of the body, usually right underneath the belly button. For some people, it's a little bit above. There's a lot of approximations when it comes to dantian, so you're going to find that will coagulate down there. And for some people that go through chakra removal process, they will observe that energy and they will interpret it as a chakra removal process. What you're really doing is you're gathering all the pieces and putting them over here. And then within the center of the body, within the heart space, you will have the heart chakra, you'll have the thymic chakra, and then you're also going to have the liver and the spleen chakras, along with the solar plexus, that will kind of coalesce together and create the middle dantian. And then up above, you'll have the throat chakra, the crown chakra, the causal chakras, there's so much up in the head. I'm not even going to start mentioning them all. And those will coalesce and concentrate into the upper dantian. And so the reality is, though, yes, the chakra system can be used to siphon energy from your body. Just like, this is going to be a weird metaphor, just like you could go to someone's car on the street and stick a hose in their gas tank and pull gasoline out. Yes, you absolutely could do that. In fact, you're going to find that in cases of implantation, energetic attachment, entity attachment, even psychic attack, that's where those attacks will take place. It's within the infrastructure of the non-physical body. Now that said, and I guess this is me just repeating it once again, we don't remove the chakras, but you'll absolutely move them. They will reposition throughout the physical life cycle. We're developing new ones literally right now. You yourself can literally create a chakra in your body just by harnessing and moving your energy. And so I probably way over answered and way over explained that question. So apologies if that might have been a little too much, but that's also a question that I have received many times. And there are people out there that have a lot of followers that are like, yes, remove your chakras. And I leave room for the truth that some of them are. I leave room for the absolute reality that some people are like, yeah, here, just cut that out. We don't need that part of your circulatory system anymore. Maybe they're doing that. People are living without their spleens and gallbladders just fine, right? So who knows? I think if you hang out in this sort of multi-dimensional soul group long enough, you will realize, or you will finally realize that we know enough to say, I don't know anything. And honestly, there's probably dozens of people that are, doing chakra removals, but yeah, who knows? Thank you for that question. Hello, Miss Liz White Swan. Good to see you again. Good to see you in these neighborhoods. Thank you, Katie Cat. Oh, and thank you, Indigo1111. Thanks. Hopefully I didn't over intellectualize that question. And thank you, Jewel Heart and Soul. The shielding and deflecting with ethereal mirrors works beautifully. I should practice that more. Thank you and see you soon. Yeah, totally. It's probably quite late where you are. Thanks for hanging out, Nora. Krista says, I've been feeling some Merlin, Camelot, Avalon, Knights of the Round Table, King Arthur energy speaking to me a lot lately. Any thoughts? I do actually here. We're going to put you up on the screen. And thank you for being a part of our training program. For anyone out there that ends up seeing this, thank you, Carissa. So we have some really amazing practitioners rising up on the earth plane right now. Chris is one of them. But with respect to the King Arthur kind of energy that you're talking about, I have not had too much experience with most of those things on the screen, except for one. And this was actually told to me. It was given to me by one of the people that really kind of launched me into the work that I'm doing right now. She had the biggest hand in really helping me transition into becoming a professional intuitive, more so than anyone in the world. Her name is Britton. I know she's out there somewhere, but one of the first discoveries, or one of the things that was given to me at early stages of my journey, was that I had a frequency, and what she had called it was a lineage frequency of Merlin. And I did not know what that was. At the time, I was like, what, Merlin? You mean Knights of the Round Table? What? To me, it was like this cheesy thing. I did not understand it. And the way that she explained it was that it was a frequency, and that it was a lineage that would awaken in certain people. And it was part of a bloodline of individuals, not necessarily an actual, physical bloodline, more of a multidimensional lineage frequency bloodline of individuals that would awaken to a frequency of Merlin, meaning that on some level there was a bit of a collective consciousness around this energy, and that it would present itself to people at certain stages of their life in which they were literally awakening to what some people call a magical or a multidimensional element of themselves. And so Merlin energy was a thing that was just, I think, closely integrated with me for a while. I do not know if it is still there. I do not know if it's something that's around me now, just because I haven't paid a lot of attention to it. But it was absolutely, it was like he showed up in my path in this weird way in the beginning, and I must have done something right, because here we are multiple years down the road. But I've also done a couple sessions with people recently who had sort of past life elements that were from the medieval ages, people that were literal knights. Honestly, most of the knights that I've talked to lately in sessions, they've all been women. In this life, they're women. Honestly, I will say this in full disclosure: most of the literal most powerful energetic warriors that I have encountered in this life have been women. Actually, I mean that with absolute sincerity. And so I think there's an interesting kind of incarnational cycle of gender reincarnation that happens. And anyway, I believe, Carissa, if that energy is showing up for you, it's probably some of those strands of consciousness or those fractalized versions of yourself speaking to you. So I would say connect with it. Knowing what we know about you, it makes a lot of sense, Carissa. So thanks. I hope that makes sense. Thank you, Hopeful Art. I think I asked it before, but I forgot the answer you gave. I'm wondering, what would you recommend to help open energy centers in the chakras, chakras in the feet? Thanks. That's a really good question, and we actually have an answer very deliberately. So there is a chakra that connects directly to the bottoms of your feet, a Hopeful Art. It is called your Earth Star Chakra. The ways you can connect with your Earth Star Chakra are, strangely enough, get this, through the meridian body. That's one of the #1 ways, and it's right down at the bottoms of your feet. You can find a place called Kidney 1 or KD1 in the meridian body. For those of you guys that don't know, it's just basically a meridian point right in the arch of your foot, sort of in line with your second toe. And so that's one of the anchor points that connects the meridian body and the chakra body. It's also one of the places where just by moving energy there, by directing your breath there in meditations, by stomping your feet, By working with your root chakra, you can continue to move energy down toward the feet, and that'll help you maintain grounding. It'll help you maintain emotional well-being. It'll help you reset your energy after difficult, just moments. There's a number of things that it'll do for it. It'll also help you feel more. This is a weird way to describe this. It's going to come out awkwardly. The Earth Star chakra has a tremendous amount to do with your own internalized understanding or your own internalized worldview, meaning the version of reality that you subscribe to, that you hold within you. For many of us, passes through with just a tremendous amount of energy, the Earth Star chakra, as we go through this life cycle. That's why a lot of us feel completely disconnected from the earthly realm right now. You will feel like you're literally on another planet. You'll be walking around people going, wow, I think I'm here, but am I even in this world anymore? For a lot of us, that's Earth Star chakra, just blockage or lack of energy or misalignment, or hopefully you didn't get some psychic surgery and they accidentally cut out your Earth Star chakra. Don't get that one removed. Yeah, I'm being kind of sarcastic, sorry. But you can also use a capsule phrase that we use in our multidimensional training program, and that I use in nearly every session when we're bringing energy down to the Earth Star. You can use this mantra, Ma Ru Va. Some of you guys have done this with me before, but you can actually chant it. It's Ma Ru Va. Ma Ru Va. And so by chanting Ma Ru Va and just kind of intending your energy to move downward, what you'll do is begin to move energy through the root chakra and kind of down your legs toward the Earth Star chakra. So where is the Earth Star chakra really? Where is it really? For anyone that wants to know where it is positioned outside of the human body. Usually, I think maybe about a foot to just a few inches underneath the human body. You can think of it like the place on your phone where the cord plugs in. And you know what happens when that gets twisted or weird? Things don't charge. And so when the Earth Star chakra is disconnected or just kind of misaligned, you won't be able to charge your energy. You'll feel alone. You'll feel separated. You'll feel not a part of. You'll feel weakened. It'll be hard for you to ground. It'll be hard for you to sleep. Sometimes when Earth Star chakra is disconnected, your days and nights will flip. You'll just start staying up all night long, and then you'll sleep during the day, and you'll feel really weird. And it is a real thing. And so, yeah, you got it. Ma, here, I'm going to put it in the chat, everybody. There it is. Here we go. So Ma Ru Va, that will move energy downward into the Earth Star chakra. And so additionally, for people that have problems staying grounded, or if you've had a lot of anxiety lately, if you're just on the earth plane, you have a lot of ungrounded anxiety, working with your kidney meridian, which is inextricably connected to the Earth Star chakra and your chakra body. Also, by just learning about the kidneys, you're going to help yourself release all that tense energy. It's like the body gets kind of steamed up. It gets kind of pressurized. People will have really common disconnections at the Earth Star chakra, sometimes at the sacral chakra. It's a very, very interesting thing. So, yeah, thanks, you guys. Let me know how that works. Thanks, Darren Margulies. Thanks for hanging out. So yeah, Ma Ru Va will definitely help you. There's another place. One of the reasons why EFT tapping works so well, you guys. For those of you who aren't familiar, EFT tapping, I think it's emotional freedom technique. There's another acronym breakdown for it you can find as well. But they essentially work with, tapping on what are really meridian points or areas of the body. And one of the reasons why EFT tapping works, especially at the collarbone, you guys, is because the kidney meridian vents right here, right at the top of your collarbone, which, once again, holds tension, it holds anxiety, it holds fear, sometimes confrontational energy. Kidneys don't have to get negative, but they can get pressurized. And so when you're doing EFT tapping, and you kind of vibrate your chest and tap your collarbone, you will also be releasing kidney energy. And how will you know? Let's just say theoretically, because a lot of people talk about this stuff. How would you know if you actually release kidney energy, everyone? What would it actually feel like? Well, you know those times when you feel super pressurized, or you walk around all day and you're like, you're just like this fist inside your body, and every now and then, you'll come to this stage where you're finally able to decompress, and it's sort of like the energy body goes, everything kind of goes back down, and people are able to re-anchor themselves. And yeah, sometimes it's the meridians, sometimes it's the chakras, sometimes it's both. Most of the time, honestly, it's the organs lately, but that could also be that's where I've been looking. Thank you, Katie Cat. She says, I've been doing Jinshin Jitsu on myself. Absolutely. I love it. I love it. What Jinshin Jitsu has not been a modality that I have formally studied, but it was kind of a weird discovery that I had made, I think in 2017, just as I started launching into this as a professional. I remember having a conversation with someone, and I did not know anything about, I think they call them safety energy locks in Jinshin Jitsu. I did not even know what they were, but I was in a conversation with a Jinshin Jitsu practitioner, and I was telling them how, yeah, I think I found all these stopping points on the body, these sort of little gateways, all over the body. It looked like they were sort of like locks or something. And she was like, yeah, those are the safety energy locks. And so it helped me tremendously. I did not really stick with it or really look into anything afterward. I don't know why. It was just kind of one of those momentary things where, it was a really cool confirmation to discover that there was an entire modality built around this thing that I randomly viewed in the energy body, because I didn't even know what they were. That was also a thing that happened to me with the meridians. I did not even know what a meridian was. And I think this was in 2016, early 2016, when I was getting just this crazy awakening, just what some people call ascension symptoms. In hindsight, what was really going on was my crown chakra was way open. It just blasted open around that stage. And I came into contact with just types of energy that were absolutely bewildering. And one of the things that happened, it might have happened 3 times, or I think it happened twice, and then on the 3rd time, it was like I was reminiscing of it, if you want to get technical. But there were days when I would be waking up in the morning, and I was kind of, I was sleeping on the couch, at my old house at that stage of my life, and I would wake up at like 5 in the morning out of this crazy dream, and it was like I could see and I could feel. And it sounds crazy, but I could hear, I could hear the meridians on my body, and I did not know what they were, but I could see that there were lines everywhere. But it wasn't even that I could see them, which gets really weird when you try to explain something like that. It was like none of those senses, but it was all of them. And what I remember specifically, the morning that I discovered it, I remember putting my arm on my hand because I could see and feel all this energy running. And I put my hand on my arm, and this was the moment, in hindsight now, years later, where I realized that there was consciousness and emotions and just all kinds of energy flowing through those lines, because when I touched my arm, I felt this emotion, and I instantly had a memory, or I was taken to this moment that I was at work. And it was weeks, maybe not weeks, it was days earlier, when just encountering that energy within my body, I was somehow transported there in this weird internal way that at the time I perceived it as insanity. And I was like, wow, I must be losing my mind. This is not normal. Because, try working as a mental health professional, you know what I mean? And, suddenly you start having this awakening journey, and strange beings are showing up in your house, and you're, accidentally going through portals when you wake up in the morning, and then you wake up and there's all this weird lines on your body. And it was not something that I could talk about. There was literally nobody that I could tell. And so that was kind of what I discovered years later were meridians. Not that I did anything with it at the time, you guys. I did not have a glamorous awakening journey where I was like, yes, I'm in contact with beings. Now we're going to go into 4th density. Nothing like that. It was horrible. Honestly, it was horrible. It was a very difficult rite of passage. And I think a lot of us are still dealing with it. Everyone talks about the awakening process right now. It's a continual journey of an understanding of the self that there really is no finality to it. So thank you, Sarah S. I was thinking about you the other day. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for showing up. Thank you, Aaron Powers. Good to see you. I don't know how many people are on Facebook. Give us a shout if you're on Facebook. I have no ability to view the Facebook scene right now. I don't know why we sort of get suppressed on Facebook. I have very low Facebook engagement. So if you're on Facebook, you can greatly help me by sharing this video. And if you're watching us on YouTube, you can also subscribe on YouTube. I should probably try to get more subscribers. I have been one of those people that I have just consciously not tried to court followers or get people to subscribe to my stuff. I think sometimes because I cringe when I see other people do it, and I'm like, ooh, I don't want to do that. I don't know. It's just a weird thing. I feel like if I tried harder, we would have much higher levels of engagement. But yeah. Hello, I see some Facebook people. Hello, Amanda Barr. Looking forward to seeing you at Camp Disclosure. And Erin Powers, good to see her face. She says, there's been a lot of fallout of dealing with the emotions from what I went through. Glad to see you on the other side of the portals, though. Yeah, totally. That's a real thing, Erin Powers. Who knows? Maybe we even talked about that in our session. But there's a stage, you guys, I think this was around, I want to say February of 2016. I'm pretty sure it was February, where there was kind of like with the Meridian dream that I had, where I woke up and there's all this energy in my body. There were multiple days in which I would wake up and the only thing I would notice from my dream was that I was coming out of the ceiling, and it was like an aquamarine blue shimmery field of water, and I went and would go into it and went back into my body, and I did not have control of it. It was not a thing where I was like, whoa. It was like, whoa. It was like this instant movement back into the body. And later on, I began to understand that, maybe that was a portal. Maybe that was part of the process of when people have conscious awareness of the energy body returning into the physical body. To this day, we still don't really know what all that is. I think we're kind of in the life cycle where we get to figure a lot of it out. But thanks for hanging out, everybody. Thank you, Aratina. It's good to see you. She said, would this chant Maruva can help me get over a shock I received on this 4th of July? That's when my son just informed me that he and his wife got, oh yeah, they got it. They got everybody's favorite mind virus inoculation. I'm sorry to hear that. I have to be real though, you guys. I am not one of those people that believes that, we need to mourn for our friends and family who have received or have made a choice to go through with a certain type of treatment that's very common on the earth plane right now. And I realize that's not a popular idea, but I am one of those people that believes that the human body can adjust, can adapt. I believe that there's nothing that we cannot overcome. And for some reason, I feel a resistance toward, segregating or ostracizing or even treating loved ones that have chosen to go down that timeline with any sort of hostility or fear or seclusion. It's just not something that I agree with. And so what I would say is, honestly, allow yourself to feel the emotions about it, because, honestly, if my son got it, I would be like, oh God, you know what I mean? I would not feel good about it. And I'm not going to, we don't have to go into all the intricacies of why. That's, there's a million people that can, get themselves banned online talking about it. We all know why if you're on this live stream, but I choose to just, I choose to just kind of love those people and allow them to make their decisions, and understand it is just a choice. And I think that by embodying the most real, authentic, and loving version of yourself, you're going to continue to assist people with making the right timeline choices, making the choices they need to make. And honestly, I don't think it's a death sentence. I don't think it's a death sentence for your son. However, I will also say this, let's get weird. I have observed energetically the process that it creates in the body multiple times. My wife has as well. And I'll sort of dance around the keywords, but what it appears to be happening on the most immediate level is, number one, kind of like a front loading of the most prevalent or the most upcoming pre-existing conditions, comorbidities, we could say, in the body. It will front load those. It's going to bring them up onto what we would call like a precipice. And if there's enough energy within the body or in certain systems, it's going to kick it on. It's going to push it over. That's why some people have strokes. Some people have heart attacks. Other people have a certain, number of things after that. And so that's one of the things that it's doing. But what's really going on And I know there's lots of other scientific stuff about this, so I'm just going to go with what I viewed. What I believe we will see in the short term, though, over the next 3 years, is mass infertility. A huge, just a drop in birth rates, birth defects, unfortunately, and mass fertility. And so infertility, that's what we're going to see first. And so anyway, going back to it, I would say just kind of love them and be the most authentic version of yourself. And I also think there's some people that are going to receive it and nothing will happen. Nothing. They'll just go on with their life. It'll just be a thing. And so, I will say those straight up. My mom had it, and Mom, I love you, but my mom had it, but she had a stroke immediately afterward. Just being totally real, 100% honest. And so she is recovering very, very well. She did not die. She's totally hanging in there. She's probably going to be stronger later on than she was in the beginning. And so it does not have to be a death sentence, but for some people, it's going to be it's an unfortunate thing. And so, Aratina, thanks for making that comment. Sorry to rant on it too much, but I think everything's going to be okay. I really, truly believe it. So thank you, Martha Fenno. Thank you. Absolutely. Rissa says, recently heard from another YouTuber that one of the jab's intentions is to allow grays to more easily inhabit our consciousness. What do you think? I'm just gonna be real in a loving way. To me, that sounds like a major YouTuber that's writing a novel. Sounds like a YouTuber that's shifted over into an entertainment-based structure that is dispensing partially true things and also distorted elements, and so it feels like a little bit of fantasy. However, I will say that one of the things that will happen with the introduction of that system into the body, one thing that is happening definitively, there is a bit of an operating system that is literally real. It is not a joke. But it's going to take a lot longer for the human body to adopt and actually, allow it to settle in. Some people will not be able to hold the operating system, and it's just going to be like a piece of, non-physical software running in the body. But for other people, it will create just a connection with a different level of frequency. And I think in those cases, technically, Carissa, it could be used to do something like that. However, I think, what people are receiving right now is nothing like that at all. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't see any reason why they would, who's going to spend the time and the money to coat every single little swab with nanobites? Why would they do that? Sometimes when I hear the level of fear mongering and sort of fantastical kind of, theorizing within the spiritual communities, I have this weird cringe moment where it's like I will step back from it and be like, oh, yeah. And it's, maybe that's just a thing that I do, maybe other people don't, but that's not to say though, Carissa, that grays aren't actually inhabiting our consciousness, because I want to be real and go to the other side of the coin. There's a tremendous, all sorts of non-physical multidimensional beings are influencing, and in some cases they are inhabiting our consciousness. It's absolutely possible. So yeah, thank you for that though. I really appreciate your comments. I'm going to say one thing that will probably inhabit your consciousness is this sort of frequency that is being emitted right now on a much greater level, just from technology. I know no one really talks about the 5 whatever new internet thing anymore. That's also kind of past, but we are receiving such a tremendous amount of non-physical energy right now that it's not even something that has to be injected into the body. Just living here in this realm. In fact, you're going to find that most of the interference we encounter over the coming years is going to be entirely non-physical, especially when it comes to implantation, you guys, which is one of the funnest misnomers in multidimensional energy work. Nothing has to be placed within the physical body anymore. Anyway, thank you. I should drink more water. I find myself drooling over here. But thanks, you guys. Thank you, Aaron Powers. Good question. With you talking about the fallout, I just felt a portal open up in my crown with some light pressure. I've been noticing posts talking about females having menstrual issues as a result. It affects the master glands, the trinity of the brain. So just praying for the best outcome for humanity. Actually, yes, that is true. I have also noticed incredible assaulting of the endocrine system. It's absolutely real. It's also going to be very useful for creating a 3-generational shift in world population through infertility, which just so you know, it's a 3-generation thing will happen. It might be more, but I think right now it's meant to be about a 3-generational process. Most of the operating system for some people on the Earth plane will be uploaded by 2025. 2025 is a key year. Absolutely. So thank you, Martha Fenno. Being present with them is all that can be done. Yeah, totally. I think we need to create radical allowance for people's timeline shifts in this life. I think the best thing you could do is remain sovereign and whole and continue to follow and just really live under your understanding of what is true and what is real, and understand that we are living in a time on Earth in which you are walking along the street and living in homes with people who are actually in another reality from you. Yes, we're living on the same physical Earth plane right now, but you are also interacting with entirely different time streams and what people call reality frequencies that for a lot of us right now, it's very, very difficult to conceptualize and understand that you're living in a time on Earth in which everyone has their own timeline and their own version of reality, and yet you're watching it every day. You are watching it every single day. So thanks, Jen Armstrong. Good to see you. I heard you got your land. It's a beautiful thing. Absolutely. Hey, Christy Catlett. Good to see you. We'll be seeing you at Camp Disclosure. I'm going to say it once again, guys. Please join us at the Camp Disclosure YouTube channel this Friday at 5 p.m. Maybe you guys can post the YouTube channel in there if you can. But we're going to be doing a chat with the Camp Disclosure crew this Friday. This Friday. So thank you, Christy. We're going to put your question up. Is it possible to upgrade our bodies to the point that the nanotech, chemtrails, et cetera, won't affect us? Absolutely, 100%. It is totally possible. I think it is a multi-layered thing. One of the most important things we can do right now on the Earth plane is continue to detox the body from harmful heavy metals, heavy metal particulate matter, just kind of chemical compounds that exist in our world. Physical detox is one of the base elements, as is an emotional detox. For most people, emotional detox begins with really opening up to the inner child, working with inner child wounding, the child pre-age 6, and just kind of unpacking any wounds that we'll have in there, which for many of us is a lifetime process that we go through over and over and over again. It's like many layers of an onion. So there's a physical detox, there's an emotional detox, and then I think also there's a level of awareness that will need to be created by just becoming aware of non-physical energy and the ways in which we are interacting with those things. I think by doing so, and this is kind of a rough generalization, Christy, we allow ourselves to shift into just a different level of awareness about what time we're living in, and especially about what these chemicals are doing to the body. And there's going to be people in the coming years who are going to go through an awakening process and realize, whoa, why did I get that? What did I do? 2 years ago, I thought we were, changing the world and saving everyone's life. And now I realize I have this thing and it's been doing this to me or doing that, or I'm learning that now it's not safe, or I'm wondering about the long-term effects. And we can absolutely mitigate and reduce those. One of the ways, which we've been doing it in our practice, is through Rife treatments. And this is actually going to be a fun part where I'm going to transition into a little something. And so I'm going to show you guys, every time we do these live streams, I want to pull these out, but every single time we do it, they're always running, and so I'm just making sure that it was running. But one of the ways that we've been helping people, in some cases, detox the energy body from harmful inoculations, in other cases, balance energy centers, in other cases, reset the endocrine system, and in other cases, just create more emotional well-being. One of the most useful tools that we have picked up this year is the Spooky 2 Rife generators. And so for the first time, you guys, I'm actually going to show you guys one of our generators that we have here. And so here it is. This is, so for those of you guys that have heard about Rife technology, this is essentially a Rife machine right here. This is one of the more simplistic versions of it. It's just a 2-signal generator. It's made by Spooky 2. That's a company that they have their own proprietary version of Rife technology. In my opinion, it is the most advanced version of Rife technology available on the market right now that I've seen, although I haven't seen too many of them, so I'm not a pro. But one of the ways in which we are using technology and also human technology to overcome the harmful effects of, certain inoculations and frequency-based warfare that's being leveled upon humanity right now is through frequency-based medicine. And so I'm not going to go into the history of it, but Royal Rife observed, or created rather, a method of entraining and just, sending out non-physical frequencies that have the ability to shatter or harmonize pathogens, energy centers, all sorts of things in the human body. I'm giving a very, very inaccurate description of it right now, but what I will talk about is the effects that it has had over our clients, and also with myself and my wife. What we have noticed, first off, is that if there's one thing you can do to really detox the energy body on a frequency level, Rife treatments right now will do it. And the way we do it, the School of Multidimensional Intuition, you guys will see this. It is through DNA entrainment and vibration of DNA. And so what this is right here, this is the DNA transmitter. It's a little box. And what you do, hopefully you guys can see this, we actually place DNA samples within this little container here. And what you do is you hook this up to your computer. It comes with software, and it vibrates the DNA, which for some people is usually where, we get into woo-woo land. And if you're deeply entrenched in third density, separation state mechanics, a lot of people aren't going to be able to conceptualize this. But what do? We take your DNA sample. What type of a DNA sample? Usually fingernails. That's been the #1 most effective thing so far. And you'll place it within this container. You can place multiples in there. You'll separate them between tape or, in some cases, plastic or other things. And what you do is then set it up with a shell. They have a number of them. So what is a frequency shell? What I have observed is that it is basically an energetic container. It is kind of like, when we use that mantra, Ma Ru Va, which is basically a capsule phrase. It allows one to send a frequency in which there is a frequency inside it. So what I noticed that the Rife machine does, especially the remotes, is they use these shells, and the shell sends the frequency. In some cases, it will be, destroying a pathogen. In other cases, it will be harmonizing the human body. But we've been using it to detox our clients in the multidimensional training program, also to detox ourselves straight up. And they have a terrain detox program with the Spooky technology that over an 11-day period removes, such an incredible amount of harmful pathogens from the body that a lot of people get. Well, they have what's called a Herxheimer effect, where, the body goes into a bit of a healing disruption and people get sick, they get swollen, they get bloated, certain conditions will rise up. And what it does is, the frequencies are able to stir up the energy field in the body to such an extent that it will start purging. And they'll start purging on a level that, for the people in our program, it has been tremendous. It has been one of the deciding factors. And so, Spooky has been an incredible, incredible company. We would like to make more videos about their stuff. I just haven't had time. And it has been probably one of the biggest game changers in my own work as a practitioner. And one of the ways we've been using it, unfortunately, I can't bring them on camera, but we also have a scalar energy unit. And I know that's also a big kind of, buzzword of the moment, but Spooky also creates scalar energy devices that create a true scalar wave frequency. And what we discovered in our work, especially with clients over distance, was that while using the scalar wave energy field in conjunction with these remotes right here, it allowed us to create an unprecedented effect over the human body. One of the most noticeable ones, you guys, this is kind of a fun, spooky rant that we're going on here. One of the most noticeable and power effects was within the endocrine system, to the extent that you can begin to generate a hormonal response in the body that will, I mean, it has shifted so much for myself. It has shifted so much for our clients. I think a couple of them are in here still. They might talk about it, but we're probably going to do a little bit of a roundtable group discussion in the coming months, just to talk on a more public level about our experience with the spooky devices. But for those of you guys that are interested in getting involved in Rife treatment right now, for those of you guys that are trying to separate yourself from the third density separation state, westernized medicine, who has done nothing but poison us for the past few years, look at what they're doing right now. This is one of the ways in which you can free yourself from that. So check it out. I'm going to put their link in there. I'm going to put the Spooky 2 link. And there it is. Boom. So this is the system that we use. There it is. You guys will see it in the chat there. Hopefully it shows up on Facebook. I don't know if Facebook gets any of my comments. Thanks if you're watching on Facebook. So Spooky 2 is the company, and so we have a number of their devices. We use what's called the Generator X, which is another one I have plugged in over there. And we have a number of these 2-channel, it's called the XM Rife generator. And so for those of you guys that want to pick up a system where you can detox yourself at home, you can begin to treat and just so many things. I won't even go down the list. Check out their website. I will say there's a learning curve with these devices. I have to be 100% real, because a lot of people, they'll also go out and buy it and they'll expect to just be able to turn it on and for all their problems to go away. And unfortunately, it doesn't really work like that. There is a big learning curve with setting up the device. There is a software that they give you for free with it that comes with a just incredible database of pathogens and things that you can use to harmonize the energy body. I would say the one difficulty is if you are not familiar with just their user interface, it's pretty difficult. I will say that's my one criticism. User interface is very difficult to figure out. But for those that are willing to spend time with it, it has been probably one of the biggest game changers in the healings that we're doing and the healing that we're receiving in my own personal healing process, and also in the work that I'm doing with clients. One of the things that I discovered, and this is the thing that it's very difficult to kind of quantify or explain, but for those of you guys that know the work that I do, we do a lot of already scalar toning. I identified before I even knew what Rife was, what I believe to be a scalar wave frequency that the human body was able to create and emit. And so when I discovered Rife technology and eventually the spooky scalar boxes, what I realized was that they were assisting us in attuning our body to be able to send and receive those frequencies on a much, much greater level. And what I've noticed is that since we've been using these literally on an everyday basis, if you're one of the people that has done a session with me, I would say since February of 2021, you have been a part of the Rife treatment frequency, because it has been playing pretty much 24 hours a day since then, right here to my left, every time I do a healing. And so it's just been technology that has completely revolutionized what we're doing. And for those of you guys that know me out there, you'll know that I hate to rep products. I hate it, honestly. I will never sell t-shirts. I'm not one of those people that does stuff like that. But there are certain companies that will create a legitimate healing tool that I think can be used to help, just liberate ourselves from, the insanity of this medical realm. And I think Spooky 2 is one of them. So I hope you guys will check them out. It almost sounds like I'm giving them an infomercial. I paid for all my products with them. Yes, they did actually give us a discount, which they're really cool about. But no, yeah, they're definitely not. They're not paying me for this. But yeah, please do check them out. So yeah, thank you for your questions, guys. Thank you. Yawning is a sign of releasing negative energy. Hello, Miranda Anderson. You're absolutely correct. Big yawns, totally. Yawning, burping. For some people, they'll even get gas every now and then. That's a literally real thing. The body releases on a number of different ways. Thank you, Rachel Neal. She said, I want a t-shirt. You know what's crazy? I actually thought of that for a while, but for some reason, I don't know why, you guys, I kind of cringe with like some of the t-shirt designs that people put out. It's just not a thing that I'll be doing. I haven't really been into merchandising, but guess what? We're actually going to completely contradict that statement moments after I say it. Get ready, you guys. I'm going to show you something. This will be for those of you guys that want to meet us at one of our events this year. We're going to be bringing these. Some of you guys don't know this, but I have developed, get ready. This is such an unrelated statement, everyone. I developed a weird obsession with 3D printing, right? Weird transition. And we are actually bringing something to our events this year that we're going to be selling, pyramids. And so this won't really show up on the camera, you guys, but what I've been creating are these weird little glow-in-the-dark mini pyramids using 3D printers. It is at the actual specification of the Great Pyramid, and technically this design here is actually from the TV show Stargate. And this was the pyramid ship from the actual show Stargate. And so what we are now doing is I've been printing these little things out. We're going to be bringing them to our events. And it's actually a little container. They're like these little boxes that we're making. So I'm just going to say it. Yes, you can put your weed in these. You can also put crystals in them. These are unfinished, so they look super rough. These are kind of the prototypes that we're working with, but we're going to be bringing these to events, you guys. We got a bunch of them printing right now. It was one of the ways in which I could defy my personal rule of not doing merchandising, because I was one of those people that would cringe when I would see other people bring, products, and it's like, you didn't make that product, you just put your label on it. It's not even your product. You're selling supplements that you didn't even create. For some reason, I don't know why, I got a weird cringe when I see people doing that. So when I started doing 3D printing, I was like, I could probably make these little things. And for some reason, in my mind, maybe this is Matthew's ego. You guys will get a little bit of a taste of my ego. I was like, well, you know what? If I make them, then it's okay for me to sell them. And then I introduced them to several people, and they were like, oh my God, that's so cool. You should definitely do it. So we're going to be selling some glow-in-the-dark mini pyramids. And we're also creating these little guys here, which are pretty cool. I'm also creating these little glow-in-the-dark owls. And so some of you guys will see these 3D printing people will know these are some of the most basic models that people do in the beginning. But we're going to be bringing some little figurines. The cool thing is they actually fit over your computer. So they're like privacy owls. And what you do is, here, get ready for my camera to go away, you guys. What you can do is place it over the camera on your computer. And so that way, see what I mean? And so we're going to be bringing these little guys, and for anyone that's interested. And so, yeah, thanks everybody. We're going to be bringing some cool little trinkets to the Family of Light gathering, as well as Camp Disclosure. And I hope you guys are going to get tickets for that. I mean this very sincerely. I think we're only doing 3 more events this year. And so for anyone that wants to have an actual physical session, those are few and far between. But those are going to be the places you do it. They're also one of the only places you can get these individually created pyramids. Here's another one that we're doing. We're also doing these fractal pyramids as well. The lighting looks horrible right now, so I realize you guys, these probably don't look that good on camera, but have these fractal pyramids and all kinds of cool stuff. So anyway, I know that's kind of cheesy and unexpected. Darren says, can we buy them if we don't go to the conference? Honestly, Darren, I don't know if anyone actually expresses interest in it publicly. We will probably do it on a greater level. I can tell you one thing: everybody in the multidimensional training program gets one. It's just a thing that we're doing. The awkward thing is I've been trying to get the School of Multidimensional Intuition to print on the side of these, and I have not figured out how to do that yet. So I'll have to make some changes. So who knows? Maybe we will offer them in the future. That's the thing. If people want them, who knows? But yeah. So I hope you guys will check us out. Find us at one of these events. It will be the only place you're able to get an individually created 3D construction. And for those people that know, it takes like 12 hours to print each one. So it's a little bit of a process. Anyway, here we go. Thank you, Don Wilkes. If people are into it, we will definitely offer them in the future. Absolutely. Absolutely. Do they fly? Rachel Neal. No, but you know what, Rachel? Thank you for asking that. I was also going to do little UFOs as well. They haven't really come together. We were going to do little ships, but somehow like the overall printing files for these did not come out properly. But anyway, thought it would be a cool thing. Strange little glow in the dark creations. Absolutely. Thanks for your questions, you guys. Cassandra says, weed and crystals. I'm all about it. I feel you. I feel you on that. Yes, Carissa. Yeah, it's about 12 hours for each one, which honestly isn't that big of a deal in the world of 3D printing. That's such a strange segue, right? You guys, we were all on like chakras and like entities and attachments, and I'm like, boom, now we're talking about products, 3D printing. And so thanks for hanging out, everybody. Let me know if you all have any other questions. We're going to be here for a little while longer, then we're going to roll out. But yeah, please feel free if you have any other questions. And for those of you guys that are interested, check us out this Friday at the Camp Disclosure live stream. We're going to be talking about human technology. Myself and Eric Rains are going to be doing a pop-up event on July 17th, Saturday, July 17th at 1 p.m. Pacific, partially in Patreon, and then we're moving it to over there in public, or over in the YouTube realm, so you guys can check us out as well. I think there's a post on Facebook about that. Yes, please do subscribe to this channel. Thank you, Jen Armstrong. Absolutely. She's using the spooky too as well. It will change your life, right? Absolutely will. Absolutely. I always get strangely congested when I do live streams. Some of you guys will notice this as I sort of look at your comments. I'm like super congested. Who knows why? So thank you, Carissa. She left some comments here on the Rife treatments. Once again, thanks for being part of our program. I'll say I felt it within minutes when he put my DNA in the machine. I wrote down the time and asked when he turned it on, and it was within 4 minutes. Absolutely. That is literally true. There are some people on the earth plane right now that are literally opening up their energy centers in the non-physical body to the level at which you will be able to feel frequencies that approach you. For some people, it can be a very difficult thing because you'll feel everything. For others, it's an ongoing process of developing and opening up to that. But absolutely, for some people, it is a game changer. And also with full disclosure, for other people, they will feel nothing at all. We have also had that experience. What I found, at least on a limited level, you know, with what limited knowledge I have over the intricacies of Rife, it does seem as though there are certain conditions or there's a buildup of just frequencies or energies or even emotions in the body that in certain cases will need to be cleared or detoxed before the body can more efficiently receive their frequencies. And so I think that's why they recommend what they call the terrain protocol when you first start using Rife, because it goes through this 11-day process of just systematically removing and essentially vibrating things out of the physical body. For anyone who's interested in being a part of a spirit detox program that we have right now, this is also something that I just have not spent time on advertising it or really talking about it with people, but I think it's probably good to talk about it because we have a few open generators right now, meaning we have a few of these guys that aren't being used. This one basically, and a few others where, you know, we have some openings for people that want to begin going through a dedicated Rife and spiritual detox treatment program. And it is a 30-day journey that we are doing right now. You guys can check it out on the website, rememberyourmission.com. But it's called the spirit detox process. And so what is a spirit detox process? It is a 30-day Rife treatment process in which you will go through the terrain detox via remote for the first 11 days. And over the course of the month in which we're working together, you will have a session each week, a private session with myself. The second session is with my wife, Honora, where she looks at your astrology. She does what we call an astral cartography reading, and just kind of identifies different layers of energy in the body. I don't use astrology in my readings. For those of you guys that know me, you'll know I'm the most non-astrological professional intuitive in the world. I mean, literally, I love it. I observe it. I think it's beautiful, but I am entirely just working within human energy systems and non-physical energy, much more so than within astrological stuff. And so one of the ways we diversified this program was by having people meet with Honora for usually the second or third session in that month, where she's going to be kind of planning a little bit of a chart ahead for people. She has been one of the absolute game changers within our multidimensional training program as well, because she does this kind of like an astrology update every 2 weeks at our group meetings, which have been really, really fun. And it's wild because I've actually learned a lot in those. And so we do a 4-session period over 1 month, in which during that time period, your DNA and your body is going to be receiving remote Rife treatments 24 hours a day. The really cool thing about it is that we have so much that we can work with within the Rife treatments over this 30-day period. So much so that it becomes a very individualized process of spiritual, mental, and physical detoxification. And so I think right now, I believe that there are, 3 openings in total. One of them I think was taken yesterday, and so we have 3 openings for spirit detox participators in the coming months. You guys can check that out on our website. I'm gonna put it in the chat here. Boom. And do check it out if you're interested. I will say, this detox program does necessitate you sending us a piece of your DNA, usually the fingernail. I know that you can use hair. At this stage, I have noticed the fingernails are the most durable kind of method to do it. And so you will send us your fingernail, and yeah, we do a little bit of a consult, figure out what's going on, and then we start your Rife treatments. And over usually the first 2 weeks, for a lot of people, are a little bit of a bumpy ride, because depending on what kind of frequencies are built up in the body, you can have big emotions, you could have physical symptoms. The cool thing is that you get an extra layer of support because you're meeting with us every week. So every week we're doing an energy clearing and an attunement, and you're also receiving constant frequencies into the energy body that so far have been incredible. I would say the only downside of this thing is that I haven't really advertised it, just because we haven't had time. And so, yeah. Thank you, Katie Cat. She says, hair. I know some people use hair with the spooky devices. I follow the manufacturer's recommendation and have only used fingernails thus far. And so we just have people literally just send us a fingernail or a toenail. It sounds so weird. You're like, really? I'm going to put my fingernail in this little baggie and send it to this person in California? Yep, totally. Don't worry. We don't clone you. We just put your DNA in one of these little boxes. And so far, it's had such incredible results. Once again, I feel like I'm doing a spooky infomercial. Sorry, everybody. And thank you, Cassandra. Good to see you once again. Yeah, oh yeah, you did. You had a reading with Honora. Totally. Looking forward to seeing you again at Camp Disclosure. Thanks, Jen. Spooky transformed my life. Me as well. Really has been the most notable effects of any healing technology I have ever used in my entire life. Shocking. Absolutely. Feel free if you guys have any other questions. Miranda says, it'd be cool if you could make something to go over cell phone cams that would stay and put and take off when needed. It would be. I don't know what that would be like. Honestly, I decided to do the owls just because they kind of went by on my screen, and I was like, whoa, owls. I don't know why. It was just a thing that it seemed cool, and so we just kind of went for it. And then suddenly I started printing mini pyramids and all kinds of other things that we won't talk about. It gets really fun. It's really fun. So thanks. The printer does print text. I just didn't get my settings right, and so I'm still learning how to use that stuff. Thank you. Totally. So we're going to roll out of here in a few minutes. Feel free if anyone has any other questions. In the meantime, I pray you will join us at the Family of Light Gathering. It's coming up in only a few weeks, you guys. July is literally flying by. This entire year is, and so in only a few short weeks, we're going to be driving out there to Sedona, Arizona for the Family of Light Gathering. So for those of you guys within the region, please do join us. I think they're also having a live stream option. So that's at familyoflight.info. There is also Camp Disclosure. 1 month after that in Helen, Georgia, we're going to be cruising out to Camp Disclosure. Once again, incredible, just a number of really cool people. I hope you guys will join us there. And then finally, I'm going to say it. It's even farther down the line, but I'm going to front load the timeline for another incredible event, and that is Starseed Adventures in October. Hopefully that's still going on in Sedona, Arizona. So that'll be farther down the line as well. So there's going to be Starseed Adventures, Camp Disclosure, and the Family of Light Gathering coming up in the coming months. I hope we'll see you guys at some of those. We're excited to make a few announcements at those in terms of just new stuff that's coming up as well. And in the meantime, we'll see you July 17th with Eric Rains here live on YouTube. For those of you guys that are still watching, if you want to help me, you can help by subscribing to our channel, sharing this video. We do have private sessions available. They're about a month out right now. I have to be real. There's about a month waiting period right now. If you're interested in getting a private session, they are available, but there's just a lot of stuff going on. So right now, yeah, we're booked about a month out. So for those of you guys interested in taking part in some of our private sessions, the time is probably now if you want to book, if that's something that you want to do, because it just keeps filling up more and more. And I don't say that in, you know, kind of a funny, sarcastic way. It just keeps filling up, and so I'm very, very grateful for that. Thank you to all of our new friends out there. In the meantime, I think that's it. You guys can tell I'm just endlessly ranting now. In the meantime, please do check out the Spooky Technology, Camp Disclosure, Family of Light. And of course, you can find me at rememberyourmission.com. And yeah, we'll do a quick scan if there's any other questions here. Well, thank you, Kelly Gates. Squeeze one in right before we roll out the door. Do you think karma cleansing could have occurred in a prior life to make this round easier? That's a very good question. I think that the process of clearing, experiencing, or dealing with karma is something that we're going to deal with no matter what life cycle or realm that we're living in, meaning that for some people we'll have cleared karmic elements prior to being born on earth. And then for a lot of us, it's part of our assignment here that we're going to constantly just deal with karmic elements, you know, based on the things we create here and also on the things that we've created in past lives. Especially in this life cycle, in my opinion, the majority of people that you have, you know, very deep encounters with or just have, you know, constant interaction with in this life, these are people that we've done this with over and over and over again. And so just in the course of that exchange, you're going to be dealing with all sorts of karmic cycles, karmic understandings, the cause and effect of our world. And so I think some people clear a lot of karma before they come in, you know, and they will have an easier time with certain things. Other people are going to have a hell of a time. And I guess if there's one thing I've noticed so far is that for each person, it is very individual and very different. Everyone gets their own individualized timeline experience on Earth. And I noticed that when I stopped trying to define people through wide swaths of like worldviews and stopped trying to like generalize people into, you know, these categories in weird ways, that I realized that everybody comes to this in their own individualized fashion. And so it's just kind of a weird way, a nonsensical way, Kelly Gates, of saying we are living in a time in which, you know, there are multiple realities coinciding. And I guess I'll just go into that even more. There are even realities right now that are intentionally interfering with our own, which is such a crazy loaded statement to drop at the end of this live stream. But actually, it's funny because Ivan Teller, who, you know, honestly, you guys, I watch this guy literally every night. That is no joke and not an exaggeration. For those of you guys that are familiar with Ivan Teller, it's kind of funny. The dude's like a regular part of our daily life here. We literally watch every live stream that he does right now. And it's funny because he was talking last night about a pocket dimension, in which I think he even mentioned that there was some form of interference happening. And that's been one of the things that I've been talking about for a while. As we go through a fourth density shift, we start to come in contact with actual dimensions or spaces of experiential, what some people call reality energy, that are here right alongside of ours. And just because we're not aware of them and we're not able to consciously interact with them doesn't mean that they're not influencing us. And, it is literally real, all the way down to the extent, this is a fun thing to throw in, it, you know, they will literally view you from another place in your physical location. It's almost like there are viewing points, and there are beings that exist within the fourth density astral space that will literally just sit there and kind of watch humans. They'll just watch and observe. It is a literal fact. And it gets weird for people because a lot of people are able to feel those presences or identify them, but not everyone has the words or understand the feelings and the presences as that being what they are. It's a fascinating thing. And so it goes both positive and negative. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks for hanging out. I do have a session coming up in a little while. That's why I'm sort of awkwardly angling myself out the door. We're coming to the stage where I'm finally getting some days off. I think the first multi-day day off period that I've had since, I think, March. No, since April, is right around July 10th. So in just a few days, we're going to get a multi-day break, which, not to complain, but it's one of those things where if you don't properly set up your schedule, you oh Lord, yeah, it's been a fun last couple of months, you guys. It really taught me a lot about what happens to people when you do multiple psychic readings and energy clearings all day, every single day, for a period of 30 days. And when I say all day, I mean about an hour to an hour and a half session, up to 6 times per day. Some days I unfortunately left too big of a hole in the schedule, and we just saw people after people. Not that that's a bad thing. I'm very, very grateful, but as a professional, intuitive, and energy worker, it gives you a very unique insight into your own energy when you constantly interact with other people's energy over and over and over again. It really has taught me a lot, I think, about what we're capable of, and I think it taught me a lot about the level to which we will hold other people's energy as well. Because that's another thing I really noticed over the past couple of months, is that just picking up a lot more stuff. I think it's very much, like entering a body of water over and over and over again. And after a while, it'll sort of soak in. And there's a greater need for self-care. There's a greater need for grounding. There's a greater need for silence. And so I've learned a lot about that these past couple of months. And so thank you, Miss Liz White Swan. I appreciate it. Good questions. Right as we were about to go out the door, VR rolls in. Thank you. Is the dream space changing? I've been visiting a specific place since the first lockdown began. Oh man, this is such a good question, VR. I mean this very sincerely. You guys can tell I'm super congested now, but it's really weird. It is a live stream effect. Who knows why? So VR says, is the dream space changing? I've been visiting a specific place since the first lockdown began. This is an awesome question, VR, because I am one of those people where I think I go to the same place every single night in a dream. As I drool on myself again. Not to say that it's the same exact location, but it's like I go to the same version of me with the same people in the same events, not the exact same ones, but it's the literal same world. And I pretty much end up there every night. And there are many people, even a few people on this live stream here, that are there with me as well. And one of my understandings for this is a completely theoretical and constantly forming and just reforming idea. I think that there may be a stage in our physical incarnation on Earth where certain people here on the Earth plane begin to be in touch with a much more crystallized version of yourself on an alternate physical timeline. And I believe that our dream space in that body is our waking life here. And as you go to sleep at night in this body, you begin to enter that version of you, meaning that your dreams are of another literal physical timeline in which you are existing. I believe that there are some people on the Earth plane who will constantly shift back and forth between those elements of self. That has been my best understanding of it so far, and that has been pretty much my literal experience almost every single night. I will go to a place We will be doing learnings, teachings, classes, events. People are just hanging out, going through a lot of the same events that we have here. And there's times as I go through my waking life here during the day in which I can actually feel that version of myself as if that other version of myself is experiencing this moment as the dream in their life. Which, if you guys are still following me, I'm just going to say it. If you're still following me, that's like a huge mind fuck, right? Because you're like, whoa, wait, what? But that's been my experience so far. And I think there's probably better ways in which I could explain and articulate that. But it's really cool to hear someone having kind of their own version of it. VR. I think other people are having that process as well. I can tell you that the place that I go to, kind of like you were saying in your other comment, it's like an altered version of this one. I have a similar house in a different place, and a different, my wife is the same wife that I have here. A lot of those things are the same, but there's different events and there's different things happening. And there's even been a couple times I've talked about this in other live streams where we had visited sacred sites over and over and over again. There are times in which we awaited great arrivals of people from other planes and other dimensions, all sorts of things. And so I think on one level, it could be an internalized experiential representation of what some people call there we go. Darren Margilli says it, a parallel reality. Or for other people, I think it's an example of when you will anchor in or connect to, get ready for the new age terminology, the new earth version of you, the version of you existing on a higher dimensional plane. And it's literally real. I don't know if I'm explaining it in an overly cumbersome way, but it's literally real. So thank you, VR. Absolutely. I have a feeling a lot of other people are switching into another dream body at night as well, but it's totally real. Oh, there you are. I see you guys. Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll leave a space for another question. If anyone has any other questions, throw it on in there. Throw it on in there. So, in the meantime, yeah, check us out, Camp Disclosure, familyoflight.info, campdisclosure.com, rememberyourmission.com. And also, if anyone wants to take part in our event with Eric Rains, as my notes start running on the live stream, that's July 17th at 1 p.m. And so I don't always remember my dreams either, Katie, Kat, for real. I don't know why. Some of them are like other lifetimes, so, those are the ones that stick. But most of them I don't, so don't worry. You are not alone. But anyway, I think that's it for now, you guys. I really appreciate everyone showing up today on YouTube and Facebook. Please do share this video. It'd be very helpful if you could subscribe to my channel. And we will see you in the coming weeks. I really appreciate all 60-something people that have made it here across 2 platforms. Facebook usually has this squeezed into like a 25-person algorithm. So apparently we popped the algorithm today. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. And I'll be back on Friday with the Camp Disclosure crew for a very cool live stream. I hope you guys will check it out. In the meantime, I love you guys. We'll see you in the future. Stay out of trouble, everybody.